Jack was a human mechanic. He worked on machines and technology in space. Today, he was far from Earth, on a small outpost at the edge of known space. The outpost was quiet, surrounded by stars and strange planets. People from many alien races came here, but it was not a friendly place. Danger was always near. Jack had been sent here because of a special task. A warrior from an alien race needed her armor fixed. This was not normal armor like a human soldier wore. It was advanced, strong, and very complicated. Jack was not a soldier. He was a fixer, a mechanic. But the aliens trusted humans because of their skill with machines. The warrior's name was Arya. She was tall and strong, with bright green skin and sharp eyes. Her hair was long and dark, tied back so it did not fall on her face. She wore heavy armor, but it was broken and scratched from battle. Her face showed both pain and pride. When Jack first saw Arya, she did not smile. She looked serious and a little angry. She stood tall, with her arms crossed, watching Jack as he prepared his tools. She spoke in a low voice. "Are you sure you can fix this? My armor is unlike anything you have seen." Jack smiled a little. He was calm. "I fix machines. Armor is a machine, right? I will do my best." Arya did not answer. She only nodded. Jack started his work carefully. The armor was heavy and had many parts. It had strange symbols and glowing lines. Jack touched the metal, feeling its weight and cold surface. He studied the damage, dents, cracks, and broken parts. This was a warrior's armor made for fighting and protecting. As Jack worked, he noticed Arya watching him closely. She did not speak much, but moved near to see better. Sometimes she reached out to touch the broken parts, remembering the battle. Her hands were strong, but there was a softness in her touch. Jack found a small crack on the inside of the armor near the shoulder. He gently started fixing it with a special tool. As he worked slowly, Arya suddenly giggled. The sound was soft, unexpected. Jack looked up, surprised. "That tickles, human," she whispered with a small smile. "Do it slowly." Jack smiled back. He never expected to hear such words from a fierce warrior. He slowed his movements, careful not to make her uncomfortable. For the first time, Arya's tough mask seemed to soften. She leaned a little closer, watching Jack's hands. The quiet room felt warmer. Jack said, "I know this armor means more than just protection. It is part of who you are." Arya nodded. "Yes, it is my strength and my history. I cannot fight without it." Jack worked through the day and into the night. He learned how to handle each piece with care. He saw small scratches that told stories, battles won and lost, friends lost and found. Arya told him some stories quietly when she thought he was not listening. She told him about her people. They were warriors, proud and strong. They lived by honor and courage. They fought to protect their homes. But the wars were hard, and many had died. Jack listened with respect. He was a human, and humans had fought many wars too. He understood pain and loss. But he also believed in hope and friendship. At one point, Jack asked, "Do you ever get scared?" Arya looked at him with surprise. "A warrior cannot show fear." "But do you feel it?" Jack asked softly. Arya hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, fear is there, but I do not let it control me." Jack smiled. "That is very human." They laughed together, breaking the silence that had grown between them. Days passed. Jack and Arya spent more time together. Jack fixed the armor piece by piece. Arya helped by cleaning parts and passing tools. She sometimes showed him how the armor worked, with small movements and gestures. One evening, as Jack worked on the chest plate, Arya suddenly touched his arm lightly. "Careful, human. That spot is sensitive." Jack froze for a moment. Then he smiled and said, "I am learning." Arya giggled again, a sound like wind through leaves. "Good," That night, the outpost was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Jack felt something new, an unusual feeling of connection. It was not just about armor or machines, it was about trust. Arya sat nearby, watching the stars through a window. Jack joined her. "Why do you stay here?" Jack asked. "This place is dangerous," Arya said. "But it is the edge of our world. Many battles will come. I must be ready." Jack nodded. "I want to help you be ready." Arya looked at him with a strange expression, half gratitude, half curiosity. "You are different from others." Jack smiled. "Humans are different. We fix things and keep trying. Maybe that is our strength." Arya smiled back, a real smile, warm and bright. The night grew deep. Two very different beings sat quietly together, one human, one alien, connected by something simple and strong. Jack knew the work was not finished. The battle might come soon, but for now there was peace, and maybe, just maybe, a new friendship was beginning. The next morning, the outpost was bathed in soft sunlight. Jack arrived early at the workshop, ready to continue fixing Arya's armor. He felt a strange excitement. Something about the warrior fascinated him more than any machine ever had. Arya was already there, standing quietly near the large window. She watched the stars fade away, replaced by the light of a nearby sun. Her armor lay in pieces on a workbench. Some parts looked better, but others still needed care. Jack smiled and said, "Good morning, Arya. Ready for another day?" She turned and gave him a small nod. "I am ready." "Is the armor ready to fight again?" Jack chuckled softly. "Almost, but we still have a long way to go." Arya's eyes softened. "You work carefully. It is different." Jack looked at her closely. She was no longer the cold, serious warrior from before. There was a new warmth in her expression, a hint of trust. It surprised him. He picked up a damaged shoulder plate and examined it. "This part is tricky. It protects your arm, but it also moves a lot." Arya stepped closer, watching Jack's fingers work. "You understand how it moves?" Jack nodded. "I do. This armor is smart. It listens to your body, but it needs to be fixed right, or it will hurt instead of help." Arya frowned. "If it hurts, I cannot fight well." Jack smiled gently. "Then we make sure it never hurts." As Jack worked, Arya stayed nearby. She watched his hands with quiet attention. Sometimes she reached out to touch a tool or a piece of the armor. Her movements were careful but curious. Then, as Jack adjusted a small connector near her wrist, she suddenly giggled, a soft, musical sound that filled the room. "That tickles, human," she whispered, her green eyes sparkling. Jack froze for a moment, surprised. "Sorry," he said with a smile. "I'll go slower." Arya laughed again, this time more freely. "Good. That is better." The small moment broke something between them. The serious, tense space grew lighter. Jack felt a warmth in his chest he hadn't expected. They worked together for hours. Jack fixed the armor piece by piece, while Arya shared stories about her battles and her people. She told him how her warriors trained from childhood, how honor was everything, how defeat was shame, but most of all, how important it was to protect those you cared about. Jack listened closely. He thought about his own people on Earth, and how humans fought not just for glory, but for family and friends. "Your armor holds your history," Jack said softly. "Each scratch and dent tells a story." Arya nodded. "Yes. And now you are part of that story." Jack was surprised by her words. "Me? How?" Arya smiled shyly. "Because you fix what others could not. Because you care." Jack felt a new kind of pride. He was just a mechanic, but here, on the edge of the galaxy, his hands were helping a warrior. Later, when Jack was repairing the helmet, Arya suddenly reached out and placed her hand on his arm. "Be gentle here," she said softly. Jack looked at her and smiled. "I am learning every day." Arya's eyes met his, and for a moment the room felt small. The noise of the outpost, the cold metal of the armor, all faded away. She whispered, "You are not like others." Jack tilted his head. "How so?" "You are patient. And you listen." Jack shrugged. "Maybe humans are good at that." Arya laughed again. "You are funny, human, but also kind." Jack's smile grew. "I try." As the sun set, the outpost grew quiet. Jack finished the last piece of armor. It looked stronger, almost new. Arya stood and tested the armor's weight. She moved slowly, feeling how it fit her body. "It feels good," she said softly. "Thank you." Jack nodded. "I want you to be ready for anything." Arya looked at him with gratitude. "You have done more than fix armor. You have given me hope." Jack's heart beat faster. He was just a mechanic, but in her eyes, he was something more. That night, as they sat together watching the stars, Arya whispered, "Maybe we will fight side by side one day." Jack smiled. "I would like that." The bond between them was growing, built on trust, respect, and the small, quiet moments of laughter and care. For the first time, Arya allowed herself to feel safe, not just in the armor, but with the human who fixed it. And Jack knew this was only the beginning. The quiet of the outpost was broken by urgent news. A rival alien faction was moving closer, faster than anyone expected. They were known for their cruelty and power. The outpost's leaders gathered quickly to discuss what to do. Arya stood among them, her face hard and serious. The armor Jack had fixed was nearly complete, but not perfect yet. She felt its weight on her shoulders like a promise to protect and fight. Jack stood nearby, listening. He could see the tension in Arya's eyes. She was a warrior, ready to fight for her people, but also worried. "We have little time," Arya said. "I must return to battle soon. The armor must be ready." Jack nodded. "I will finish it. No one else knows it like I do." Arya's gaze softened for a moment. "Thank you, human. I trust you." Jack worked fast, but carefully. The armor was complex and sensitive. He had learned much about it in the past days, but now every second counted. He moved with steady hands, fixing the last cracks, tightening the plates, and testing the connections. Arya watched him closely, standing beside him. "Be careful with this part," she said, pointing to a section near the chest. Jack smiled. "I am being careful, warrior." The small smile from Arya made Jack's heart beat faster. He realized he wanted her to feel safe and strong. As Jack worked, Arya talked about the coming fight. She told him about the rival faction's history, how they destroyed villages, enslaved people, and showed no mercy. Her voice was steady, but inside, Jack sensed a storm of anger and sadness. "You have faced many battles," Jack said softly. "How do you keep going?" Arya looked at him, her eyes shining. "Because if I stop, my people will fall. Because I must be strong for those who cannot fight." Jack admired her courage. "Humans fight for the same reasons." Arya nodded. "Maybe that is why I trust you." Jack finished the final repairs and stepped back. The armor shone with fresh strength. It was no longer broken, but ready for war. Arya moved in the armor, feeling its power. "Thank you, human. You have done more than fix metal. You have given me strength." Jack smiled. "And you have given me hope." Suddenly, the alarms sounded. The rival faction's ships had arrived in the system. The battle was about to begin. Arya took a deep breath. "I must go." Jack nodded, but inside, he felt fear. He was not a warrior. He could only watch and help from afar. Arya turned to him and said quietly, Will you wait for me? Jack smiled bravely. I will be here, and I will fix anything you need. She reached out and touched his hand softly. That means more than you know. With that, Arya left, her armor shining in the red light of the warning sirens. Jack stayed, behind, watching the stars. He knew the fight would be hard, but he also knew something stronger was growing between them, a bond that could change the future. The battle was coming, but so was a new kind of hope. The red warning lights flashed across the outpost, casting sharp shadows on the walls. Jack stood near the communication console, his hands tight around the controls. Outside, through the large windows, the enemy ships appeared like dark silhouettes against the stars. The rival faction had come to destroy everything. Arya, wearing the armor Jack had repaired, stood ready in the hangar bay. Her green skin gleamed beneath the powerful plates. She moved smoothly, feeling the armor's strength and support. Her sharp eyes scanned the horizon, filled with resolve. "Jack," she said without looking back, "I will fight for our future. Stand ready." Jack swallowed hard but nodded. "I'll be here. I'll help in any way I can." The hangar doors opened, and Arya stepped onto the landing pad. Her ship awaited, engines humming with power. As she boarded, Jack activated the support systems, remote sensors, medical patches, and emergency repair drones. The battle began. Arya's ship soared into the void, cutting through enemy fighters with deadly precision. Inside, Arya's movements were fluid and fierce. The armor responded to every command, protecting her from the harsh blasts of energy and debris. Jack monitored the fight from the outpost. He could see Arya's ship on the screen, darting through space, striking hard and fast. He felt a mix of pride and fear. Pride because of her skill, fear because of the danger. Suddenly, a warning beeped on Jack's console. Arya's ship had taken damage, a heavy blow to the left wing. Jack quickly sent repair drones into space, controlling them with steady hands. The drones worked fast, welding and patching the armor on Arya's ship. Inside the battle, Arya felt the impact but pushed forward. She remembered Jack's careful work on her armor, and her confidence grew. The protection gave her the strength to keep fighting. But the enemy was ruthless. One fighter broke through her defenses and targeted her ship's engine. A blast hit, hard, shaking the vessel. Arya's armor absorbed much of the damage, but she was thrown against the controls. Jack watched in horror as the ship spun dangerously. He activated an emergency beacon to call for backup. Arya steadied herself and fired. Back with fierce determination, she took down the enemy fighter, but at a cost. The armor's energy shield flickered weakly. The battle raged for what felt like hours. Finally, the enemy retreated, their ships disappearing into the dark void. Arya's ship limped back to the outpost, damaged but alive. The hangar doors opened, and she landed safely. Jack rushed to her side. Her armor was scratched and dented, but it held. Arya was tired but alive. "You fought well," Jack said, helping her out of the ship. Arya smiled faintly. "Your work saved me, human." Jack shook his head. "You are the warrior. I only fixed the armor." Arya looked at him with something new in her eyes, gratitude mixed with respect. "We make a good team." Jack laughed softly. "Yes, we do." As Arya rested, Jack used his tools to repair the armor again, this time with more care and attention, knowing how much was at stake. They shared quiet moments, the noise of battle, replaced by soft conversation and gentle touches. Arya let Jack see the side of her no one else knew, the woman beneath the warrior. Jack felt honored. For the first time, he understood what it meant to protect someone not just with machines, but with trust. The outpost was safe, for now, but Jack knew the war was not over. The enemy would return, and Arya would fight again. Yet in the middle of danger and chaos, something had changed. Between a human mechanic and an alien warrior, A bond had formed that was stronger than any armor. Jack looked at Arya and whispered, "We'll face whatever comes, together." Arya smiled, a real, warm smile. Together. The outpost was quiet again. The battle had passed, but the weight of it still hung in the air. Jack and Arya spent many hours together, working on the armor and repairing the damaged ship. But something deeper was growing between them, a connection neither had expected. One evening, as the twin suns set behind distant mountains, Arya sat beside Jack in the workshop. The soft glow of the setting suns painted her green skin with warm light. Her eyes looked tired but peaceful. Jack looked at her gently. "You seem different now, Arya. Stronger, but softer." Arya smiled faintly. "Because I trust you, human. You have helped me more than you know." Jack's curiosity grew. "Tell me about your past, Arya. I want to understand you better." Arya hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Very well. But it is not an easy story." She took a deep breath and began. "My family was betrayed," she said quietly. "A close ally turned against us. They attacked without warning, destroying our home and killing many." Jack listened, his heart heavy. "I was young when it happened. I escaped, but alone. I swore to fight for my people, to protect them from such pain." Her voice trembled slightly, but she did not look away. Jack reached out and placed a hand over hers. "That must have been very hard." Arya nodded. "It was. I have fought many battles since then. I carry their memory with me." Jack squeezed her hand gently. "You are very brave, Arya." She smiled, a real smile this time. "Thank you, human." For the first time, Arya let her guard down completely. She shared stories of loss and hope, of battles won and friends lost. Jack shared his own stories, too, of Earth, of human struggles and triumphs, of families, friendships, and the will to survive. They found common ground in their pain and their dreams. "Humans and your people are very different," Jack said. "But we both fight for what we love." Arya nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps that is why we understand each other." Their hands stayed joined, a silent promise between them. Days passed, and their bond deepened. Jack repaired the armor with care and precision, knowing how much it meant to Arya. She trusted him completely now. One afternoon, Arya spoke with quiet determination. "We must prepare for the future. The rival faction will return. We need allies." Jack agreed. "I can help. Humans are ready to stand with you." Arya's eyes shone with hope. "Together we can protect our worlds." Jack smiled. Together. That night, under the stars, they made plans. Plans for peace, for unity, and for a future where humans and Arya's people would fight side by side. As they talked, Arya leaned, her head on Jack's shoulder. "Thank you for believing in me." Jack wrapped an arm around her. "And thank you for letting me be part of your story." In the quiet of the outpost, two very different souls found comfort in each other. Their journey was far from over, but now they faced it with hope and trust. The air on the outpost was electric with anticipation. Word had spread quickly. A new alliance was forming between the humans and Arya's warrior people. Leaders from both sides prepared for a meeting that could change everything. Jack stood quietly near the communications center, watching the stars with a mix of hope and nervousness. Arya walked beside him, her armor shining bright, fully repaired and stronger than ever. But tonight, she wore no helmet. Her face was open, free from the battle scars and the weight of war. "Do you feel ready?" Jack asked softly. Arya smiled. "I do. But it is not just about me. It is about all of us, humans, my people and those who wish for peace." Jack nodded. "We have come far, from strangers to allies, from fear to trust." The council chamber was filled with leaders from many worlds. Humans stood beside Arya's people, their faces showing a mix of curiosity and hope. There was tension, too. Old fears and doubts whispered in the background. But the room held a new energy, one of possibility. Arya stepped forward and spoke clearly. "We have fought long and hard. We have lost much. But today, we choose a new path." Jack watched as her words reached the crowd. He felt pride swell inside him. This warrior, who once stood alone, was now a beacon of hope. After the speeches, the leaders joined hands in a symbol of unity. The alliance was official. Plans were made for joint defense, trade, and cultural exchange. Later, as the crowd dispersed, Jack and Arya stood together outside, under the vast sky. Arya looked at him and laughed softly. "Do you remember when you first fixed my armor?" Jack grinned. "How could I forget? You told me I tickled you." Arya giggled. "Yes, and you had to do it slowly." Jack reached out and took her hand. "Some things never change." They stood quietly watching the stars. The galaxy felt bigger now, full of promise and new beginnings. Arya turned to Jack, her eyes shining. "You changed my world, human. Not just by fixing my armor, but by fixing something inside me." Jack smiled. "And you changed mine. You showed me courage, strength, and the power of trust." As the night deepened, they knew their journey was only beginning. Together they would face whatever challenges came next. Their friendship, born from the spark of a simple touch and a whispered laugh, had grown into something stronger than any armor. The galaxy would remember the story of the human mechanic and the alien warrior. How two very different beings came together and built a future on respect, hope, and unexpected love. And it all started with a simple moment, when she giggled and whispered, "That tickles, human. Do it slowly."